Welcome to another episode of Business Yoga Podcast. Today, we will talk about Niyama. After understanding Yama, which guides how we interact with the world, the next step in the 8 limbs of yoga is Niyama. While Yama is outward-facing, Niyama is inward-facing. It is about personal discipline and the practices that shape our inner world. It focuses on how we manage ourselves, our thoughts, our emotions, and our daily habits. In the context of business yoga, Niyama becomes the foundation of self-mastery. Because before we lead teams, build organizations, or make impactful decisions, we must first learn to lead ourselves. Niyama reminds us that the quality of our external results is always a reflection of our internal state. It is not about controlling life, but about aligning your inner world so that your outer actions become more clear, calm, and purposeful. When your inner state is stable, decision-making improves, stress reduces, and consistency increases in both personal and professional life. In today's business environment, we are often reacting rather than responding. Deadlines, targets, emails, expectations, everything demands attention at the same time. Without inner discipline, we get pulled in different directions. Niyama helps us slow down internally, even when the external world is moving fast. It builds a sense of awareness, where we begin to observe our patterns instead of being driven by them. This awareness is what creates clarity, and clarity is one of the most valuable assets in both leadership and life. The first aspect of Niyama is Shaucha, which means self-purification. At a surface level, it refers to cleanliness, but in a deeper sense, it is about removing all forms of clutter from our lives. This includes physical clutter, mental clutter, and even emotional clutter. Think about your workspace. When it is messy, disorganized, or overloaded, it directly impacts your ability to think clearly. The same applies to your mind. When your thoughts are filled with negativity, doubt, comparison, or overthinking, your decisions become unclear and reactive. Shaucha is the practice of consciously creating space, both around you and within you. In a business context, Shaucha can be applied in simple but powerful ways. It could mean organizing your workspace at the start or end of the day. It could mean simplifying processes that have become unnecessarily complicated over time. It could also mean being mindful of the kind of information you consume, because what you take in shapes how you think. Even letting go of unproductive thoughts such as constant worry or self-doubt is a form of purification. When we start practicing Shaucha, we begin to notice that clarity increases naturally. We don't have to force better decisions. They start emerging because the noise has reduced. A clean environment supports a clear mind, and a clear mind leads to better judgment, better communication, and better outcomes. Another important dimension of Shaucha is emotional clarity. Often we carry past experiences, frustrations, or disappointments into present situations. This affects how we respond to people and challenges. By practicing self-awareness and consciously releasing these emotional residues, we create a more neutral and balanced state of mind. This allows us to respond to situations based on what is happening now, rather than what has happened before. Over time, Shaucha becomes less of an activity and more of a mindset, a way of living with simplicity, clarity, and awareness. The second aspect of Niyama is Santosha, or contentment. In today's fast-paced and highly competitive world, we are constantly chasing the next milestone, the next achievement, the next target. There is always something more to achieve, and while ambition is important, it can also create a constant sense of dissatisfaction. Santosha reminds us to pause and appreciate the present moment. It is about developing a sense of gratitude for what we already have, while still working towards what we want. It is not about becoming complacent, but about finding balance between ambition and contentment. In business, Santosha plays a crucial role in maintaining emotional stability. For example, when a project is completed, instead of immediately jumping to the next task, taking a moment to acknowledge the effort, the learning, and the contribution of the team creates a sense of fulfillment. When leaders practice contentment, they bring a sense of calmness to the organization. This calmness reduces unnecessary pressure and helps teams perform better. It also builds a positive culture where people feel valued and motivated, not just driven by targets, but also by appreciation. But Santosha also helps in dealing with uncertainty and setbacks. Not everything in business goes as planned. There are delays, failures, and unexpected challenges. Without contentment, every setback can feel overwhelming. But when we cultivate Santosha, We develop the ability to stay balanced even when things are not perfect. We begin to see challenges as part of the journey rather than as obstacles. This mindset shift makes a significant difference in how we respond to situations. Instead of reacting with frustration, we respond with patience and clarity. Another important aspect of Santosha is reducing comparison. In the business world, it is easy to compare growth, revenue, success, or recognition with others. This constant comparison creates stress and dissatisfaction. Santosha brings the focus back to your own journey. It reminds you that progress is personal and growth takes time. When you operate from contentment, your actions become more focused and meaningful, rather than driven by external validation. When Shaucha and Santosha are practiced together, they create a strong internal foundation. Shaucha clears the noise, while Santosha brings peace. One helps you remove what is unnecessary, the other helps you appreciate what is already present. Together, they create a state of clarity and calmness that supports better thinking, better decisions, and better relationships. This is where real productivity begins, not from pressure or constant urgency, but from alignment within. Over time, these practices become part of your daily life. You start noticing small shifts. Your reactions become more thoughtful, your decisions become more intentional, and your approach to work becomes more balanced. This is the essence of Niyama. It is not about adding more to your life, but about refining what is already there. And when this inner refinement happens, everything you do on the outside naturally improves.